Hi everyone, welcome to Rascolabla Reviews YouTube channel. In this video I am going to share review of Mercedes AMG G63. There's a new electric G-Class and the ICE versions, including this bombastic Mercedes AMG 63, have been hybridized. Has Graz gone woke? Are pigs soaring over fields with Beelzebub ice skating beneath them? The short answer is no. The AMG has the mildest of mild hybrids, a 48V integrated starter generator, and reassuringly, it is still an ostentatious in-your-face display of wealth and opulence and a massive signal to the proletariat that you are better than them because you can afford to ignore tedious objectives such as price, interior space, or MPG. As such, its rivals are hard to pinpoint. The Range Rover has a similar heritage. The Land Rover Defender V8 has the same off-roading ability and badass V8 soundtrack, while the Ineos Grenadier is similar in ethos, but is a bit more of a workhorse. Then there are performance SUVs, such as the Porsche Cayenne and Aston Martin DBX 707. The car's exterior styling has been widely acclaimed a shining example of how to perfectly update a look that depends so squarely on the design cachet of historical authenticity, which flows from both outline and detail alike. The exposed door hinges, oversized door handles, bug eyes indicators, and exposed spare wheel all look like they belong entirely. And yet the tight panel fit and more integrated look of the bumpers and wheel arches speak of a designed-in build quality unknown to the car previously. This latest model has largely the same suite of updates as the regular Mercedes G-Class, which means a few nips and tucks to keep it feeling fresh, as well as a new lip to the A-pillar to aid drag coefficient. It remains almost entirely hand-built, with 100 man-hours of assembly and finishing going into each example. Like a traditional off-roader, it has a body-on-frame construction with a ladder frame chassis underneath. There's a climb up to get inside of any G-Class, even for tall people. It's not what you'd call claustrophobic, but considering the size, there's not an awful lot of elbow room. The view out is imperious, and you can see for miles. It's the same for the rear. Legroom is much better in more traditional SUVs. The boot is tall and short, so you usually have to stack your possessions if you're going away for a weekend. Inside, the G63 gains Merc's latest MBUX infotainment, which means twin 12.3-inch screens and a first for the G3 adaptive cruise. It retains physical heating controls, though, while also gaining keyless entry. It's all pretty intuitive, and you don't end up spending much time looking away from the road. AMG's twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter petrol V8 with a 48V starter generator that produces 21 bhp and 184 lb-ft puts total output at 603 bhp and 627 lb-ft. Top speed is 137 mph, though it is a 0.62 mph of 4. 3 sec that widens the eyes. The engine operates through a Mercedes 9G-tronic torque converter transmission with quite outstanding oral pomposity, and while not quite as serrated as the 5.5-liter M157 unit, its more hulking tone matches the old boy for sheer volume. Cruise anywhere remotely near a parallel structure, and there's no doubt the exhausts exit to the sides, and so for all its newfound sophistication, this is still a machine those of a retiring disposition will tire of quickly. The introduction to the UK of the 6-cylinder petrol G500 might make some potential Geländewagen customers turn their heads. But they shouldn't. Sensible drivers would, frankly, look elsewhere, and those even with a modicum of sensibleness will just buy the diesel. The biggest change is the new AMG Active Ride Control suspension system. Hydraulics replace torsion bar cross stabilizers, and the shock absorbers also gain hydraulic connections. Essentially, you can decrease stiffness for off-roading and increase it to reduce roll while cornering on road. It makes for the sweetest handling G ever. One of Merc's engineers was perhaps damning it with faint praise when he said to me that you no longer have to steer 3 seconds before the corner on the Autobahn. But I get where he's coming from, and he's completely right. It's certainly no Cayenne. But there's a fluidity and preciseness that no longer makes the 63 quite so cheek-clenching in the bends. There's still a lot of dead around the center of the steering, and blatting down a set of S-bends is still a workout for the forearms.